Cool. Next, we are going to look at glucagon and its receptor, the G protein linked receptor. But before I begin here, right, if you look at the learning outcomes again, at the first page of the notes, the structure of G protein linked receptor, right, is not only for the topic of cell signaling, it's also supposed to be something that you learn under proteins as well, right? So under proteins, you learn collagen, you learn hemoglobin. There's actually a third example of proteins that you need to know, which is the G protein linked receptor as an example of membrane protein. But we did not talk about the G protein linked receptor when you learned protein last year, because it wouldn't make sense to you if we don't go through the cell signaling to learn about the function of the G protein linked receptor. Right, so here we are going to learn about the function and the structure together. And for those who are a bit quicker, alarm bell should ring already. Structure, function, so the understanding of how structure relates to function is something that you need to be able to explain yourself. Yeah. Okay, so structure, right, of the G protein linked receptor. Okay, is as the name suggests, is a receptor, right? It's a membrane-bound cell surface receptor. So therefore, it contains the transmembrane domain, and this one is quite specific to the G protein linked receptor. Almost all G protein linked receptor would contain 7 alpha helices that span across the width of the membrane. Right, quite specific, yeah. Most, if not all, of the G protein linked receptor all have 7 alpha helices. Okay, there's the extracellular domain that contains the ligand binding site. In this case, of course, it's the ligand binding site for glucagon. Then there's the cytoplasmic domain, which contains a binding site for the G protein. Right. The G protein, as you will learn later in the picture later, right? The G protein carries a molecule of GDP when it is inactive. Okay, so I'm not showing the GDP here, right? But then just imagine there's a molecule of GDP that is bound to the G protein here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So basically that's the structure of the G protein linked receptor. Then later we'll look at its function. Can I leave it to you to explain the structure to function?